back to what Barry had, and that's Genesis chapter 15. Where we talk about, in Genesis chapter 15, verse 16. And you see where God speaks, "As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace," talking to Abraham. "You'll be buried at a good old age," which he does. He gets pretty good in age. "Then in the fourth generation they will return here, for the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet complete." Now, flip on over to Genesis chapter 50. 50. End of the book. We've gone through the whole thing with the coat of many colors. We've had Pharaoh with his dream of 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows and 7 fat ears of corn and 7 skinny ears of corn. And if you'd like to stir up some Old Testament scholarly debate, find out, try to get them to nail down whether corn means corn or if it means just a general grain. Some people think it just means wheat. Or whatever grain was common at the time, but that in the time that the King James was translated into English, they called any normal grain was just called corn. Anything small like that was corn. Rice grew as corn, so that was corns of rice. And so therefore corn has kind of embedded itself in that translation, but it may just have been wheat, because most people think that corn was introduced to Europe after Columbus came and met the Indians. Then we have the Egyptians with corn. So that gives some people some pause. But more importantly, we've been through the famine. Joseph is now the number 3 guy in Egypt. Most likely as the Secretary of Agriculture. But keep in mind, Egypt is not a democracy that has a separation of powers between the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. They're all one branch, which means that the Secretary of Agriculture also passes and enforces the Farm Bill and executes those people who violate it. It's most likely that Joseph, we see that, you'll be second, Pharaoh says to him, "You'll be second only to me within the kingdom." More likely does not mean that Joseph is made truly the number 2 man in Egypt for everything. But he's the number 2 man in Egypt dealing with those specific responsibilities of the upcoming famine, the agricultural things. Pharaoh would have had his own defense staff and those types of folks, and they would have all kind of formed his council. Gotten through the famine. Jacob has moved to Israel. The whole family has come down, 70 or 78 people, depending on how you add it up. And then Jacob dies. And that's Genesis chapter 50. Jacob dies. He's embalmed. Joseph commands his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. 40 days of embalming. That's a long time, but that was the standard practice. It doesn't mean 40 days of active work. That means a certain amount of time buried out in the sand, packed in nature, all that kind of thing. Y'all really don't want all the details of that. I can give them to you, or I could actually call Dad and he could tell you all of them as well. But you don't really want to know. But all that goes on. Joseph takes his father back into Canaan to bury him in the tomb of Abraham and Isaac. Where you were buried mattered. That established your family's whole. This is where we belong. It wasn't so much about this is where we died. This is where our family belongs. And then Joseph gets old. And Joseph dies. Verse 22. Now Joseph stayed in Egypt, he and his father's household, and Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph saw the 3rd generation of Ephraim's sons, also the sons of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were born on Joseph's knees. When you see that, that's, talk about claiming a kid, that's saying, hey, this is mine. Not just in that loving grandfather way, but instead, no, we're adding him to my inheritance. We're adding him to my list of sons. You could do that in those days. Okay? Joseph said to his brothers, "I am about to die. But God will surely take care of you and bring you up from this land to the land which He promised on oath to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob." Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear, saying, "God will surely take care of you, and you shall carry my bones up from here. So Joseph died at the age of 110 years, and he was embalmed and placed in a coffin in Egypt. He made the effort to transport Jacob back and bury him with Abraham and Isaac. And then when Joseph dies, Joseph says, don't bury me in this ground in Egypt. Put me in a box, and when God takes us out of here, you take me and you bury me where we belong in Israel. God promises Abraham that it'll be some 400 years from the time that he makes that promise in Genesis 15 until the people of Israel begin to take possession of the land. By the time Joseph's dead, it's been, 150 years, if not more, since that promise? But there's still a couple of hundred years left to go. If Joseph wants everybody to remember that that promise's fulfillment is close enough around the corner that all I want you to do is put me in a coffin and have me ready to go. He's lived his life trusting that promise. God has given us certain promises about redemption, about eternity, about new names, about the grandeurs of heaven and the new earth and the eternal kingdom with Him. Everything we do, we ought to do in light of the fact that those promises are right around the corner. And we ought to do all that we possibly can, all that we know to do, to help other people remember that and not forget. In the way that we handle our life and in the way that we handle our death. Because Joseph knows, even as he goes to the grave, that he is able to take his death and make it something that means something, to show the people what God can do. And then a few hundred years later, that's one of the things you see in the Exodus, is they take up Joseph's bones and take them and bury them. Carry them to the promised land. They remember. They take note. What do you remember? Think about the people that have gone before that have reminded you of God's promises. Think about the people in your life that you want to leave always remembering God's promises. And what things you can do to make sure that that happens. I want to challenge you with that thought as we go from here. I want you to think about that. You've got friends. You've got family. You've got children. You've got grandchildren, some of you. You have a church. What are the ways that we can make sure that we leave a legacy that speaks generation after generation after generation that God has made a promise and He will always be faithful to fulfill it? What if we live our life in honor of that? What if we live our life in consideration of that, more than in consideration of making sure that we left behind this good habit or that good standing or a perfect record at the bank? And I'm not telling you to get paid in bills. But what if we were more concerned for leaving behind our legacy of trust in God's promises than we were concerned about anything else we could leave behind? What would you do different this week? Now, go do it. Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to be here. We pray, Lord God, that you will help us as we strive to honor and serve you. In Jesus' name.